Hey, it's Francisco. Welcome to video 2 in my major scale video series. In this video, we're going to pick up from where we left off in video 1 with the definition of the major scale. Before we get into it, if you haven't watched video 1 and you are shaky at all on your terms, go watch it. In order to keep up in this video, you will need to know your terms. All right, the definition of the major scale is a sequence of pitches separated by a specific interval pattern. Up here, we have that. Now, what we have stated so far, what we have defined is something theoretical. So we have representations of pitches. They do not become something practical, something real, until we pick actual notes to play. All right, so this is all, when we talk about music theory, this is the alphabet. All right, here we have solfege syllables and scale degrees, which are, you know what those are from the previous video. And we have our intervals. W's are whole steps, H's are half steps. So we see we go do, whole step to re, whole step to mi, half step to fa, whole step to sol, whole step to la, whole step to ti, half step to do. And then you could say it the exact same way. It would mean the exact same thing, but you could use the scale degrees. So 1, whole step to 2, whole step to 3, half step to 4, whole step to 5, whole step to 6, and then the last 2. All right. In the previous video, I mentioned that music theory is based almost entirely off of sequential patterns. So this is a pattern, right? We see do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's easy enough to remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Easy enough to remember. The next thing to commit to memory is the interval pattern. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Because this is really what gives us the sound of the major scale. And then what we call the notes that fall around these intervals are, they're happening because of the interval. All right, so I'm going to put this on the guitar. So again, I want to reiterate, memorize the interval pattern. It's very easy. Whole, whole, half. Whole, 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 half. 2 wholes and a half. 3 wholes and a half. Commit it to memory. Okay. So now what we do, we pick a note, a starting point, and then we follow the interval pattern. It tells us exactly what to do. And if you do it correctly, you can't get it wrong. And it's easy to do it correctly. Here's one thing you have to remember. An interval is a distance traveled. So as you play a note, then you travel an interval, then you play a note. Okay. I am going to use the note on the 3rd fret 1st string, which is a G. So this is going to be the G major scale. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the note. I'm going to say the solfege syllable. I am then going to say the interval and travel it. And then I'm going to repeat that process until I get all the way to the octave. Okay, here we go. Do, whole step to re, re, whole step to mi, half step to fa, whole step to sol, whole step to la, whole step to ti, half step to do. Same thing, but with scale degrees. 1, whole step to 2, whole step to 3, half step to 4, whole step to 5, whole step to 6, whole step to 7, half step to 1. I'm checking my paper to make sure I'm not doing anything or missing anything. Okay. Here's the cool thing. That's it. That's all of what the major scale is. Okay? You pick a note, you intentionally, thoughtfully, and with awareness place notes following this interval pattern, the major scale interval pattern, and you will get the major scale. So here, I'm going to follow this interval pattern on several different starting points, on several different strings. I'm going to call out the key I'm in, and then I'm just going to play. I'm going to play and call out the interval, but I'm not going to say the notes. Okay? It kind of doesn't matter what note I pick right now. All we're trying to see is that this, without exception, gives us the major scale. And this is, in fact, all that it is. Okay, here I go. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Notice I traveled first. I traveled and said that, and then said whole step. Whole, right? That's the travel. Here we go again. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. All right, now on this one I'm going to tell you all the facts, and I'm going to announce it. I'm going to announce everything again, just so everything is very, very clear and that you get to see it again. So now we're going to do C major. We're going to do 3rd fret, 5th string. Do. Whole step to Re. Whole step to Mi. Half step to Fa. Whole step to Sol. Whole step to La. Whole step to Ti. Half step to Do. All right. That is the basic theory of the major scale and the basic theory of the major scale put on a single string on the guitar. By the end of this video, you should be able to play the major scale along one string by following the interval pattern. Work things up until you can do that, okay? In the next video, we're going to go over playing, we just played along one string. Now we're going to play across all the strings. Now this is very important. We're not learning some special system. This is not my special system. What I am teaching you is music theory, actual, real music theory, which was designed by geniuses over centuries. Invest your time into these fundamentals, and you will have access to the complete language of music. All right, now, we just did the major scale on a single string. And I want to point something out. That is enough to begin improvising. And I would even argue that it's not just enough to begin improvising. You should start improvising along one string. One thing that does happen to guitar players, because there is, while we are learning music theory, there are systems at work that allow us to practically navigate music theory on our given instrument. So piano has a certain way of doing it, violin has a certain way of doing it, saxophone has a certain way of doing it, guitar has a certain way of doing it that is unique to multi-voiced instruments, right? We have 6 strings, or like a violin, but different than a violin though, because we play chords. Unlike a piano or a saxophone where it's just linear, it's basically just one string. So we will have a system that allows us to play the major scale across all the strings in a really efficient, nice way. Now, when we learn those, if you have first built your foundation playing along a single string in this distance and appreciating the different sizes of interval, that will really benefit you in not getting trapped in these shapes in a purely geographical and logistical sense. And then it will also help you see the similarities between a movement like and, which are the same notes, different pitches. So what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to play a solo. This is in E minor, or the same relative notes of G major. And I'm just going to play on one string. I'm just going to play all on this single string. I'm just going to improvise, just making stuff up, having fun. And just notice all the things that are possible. A really worthy story can be told. All right, y'all get it, right? All right, and there, so you saw there, I played along a single string, and it was a really good solo. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I'm not trying to say that my playing is so good, but the options that were available was enough for me to feel like I was adequately able to express myself and play something that I was happy with. Start playing along a single string. It's very, very, very powerful. And then I opened it up. I started playing more of just like the scale shapes as we'll start to learn them in coming up videos. But again, I want to reiterate, I didn't even get into the full breadth of things that you can do. That thing. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's awesome. All on one string, right? In our next video, we are going to learn we're going to learn the first scale shape that allows us to play the major scale across all the strings with all notes in a finger's, with all of the notes that we can play within a finger's reach. We'll get more into it. All right. Please like and subscribe, leave comments or questions, and I will get back to you. All right. Peace.